Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times bestselling author Matt Adams.
What is going on, folks? Absolutely pumped for the week that is ahead. PGA Show week is upon us, and we've got programming planned for you throughout the course of the week. Obviously, it includes being live inside of the Orange County Convention Center. There will be tens of thousands of industry professionals working the aisles, and we have so much cool information for you. I'm going to share a little bit later on in the program about what's going on with this year's show. I can't tell you this much as a preview. This year's show is back to the halcyon days where it is absolutely massive. And it's because of what's going on with the game of golf. I'm going to get into the details of that as well, because we have this really interesting place where the game is right now, where, call it at a recreational level, amateur level, however you want to define it, the game is stronger than it's ever been. And there's a number of different metrics that we can use to measure that. You can do it through pure numbers, which tend to be cold in terms of economic numbers, or you could do it in terms of engagement. And the engagement levels are at all-time highs. And the areas where that engagement is coming from, how all of you are consuming the game, is changing, and it's modifying, and it's exciting to see what's happening. It's still club in hand. You're still hitting a ball, just you're doing it in different places in different ways, and it's impacting different groups, which means all ships are rising as the tide rises. So we're going to get into that in a second. I want to talk about what took place in the golf this past weekend, because I thought it was exciting as all get out at the American Express. You have the three courses in rotation, right? La Quinta Country Club, the Nicklaus Tournament course, and then you have the Pete Dye Stadium course. And yes, the Pete Dye Stadium course was built to kind of be a West Coast version of TPC Sawgrass on the East Coast, right, which is going to take center stage at the Players in just a few weeks down the road. So there are similarities there. For example, if you had a chance to see the par 3 17th, it looked an awful lot like another 17th hole at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass, except Pete Dye didn't like to replicate holes on his golf courses, so he kind of begrudgingly said, okay, but I'm not going to use railroad ties. I'm going to use rocks that surrounded it. And when Pete Dye does what Pete Dye does, you want rocks? He gave you rocks. And that hole, just like so many others, played a significant part of the tournament. I would say probably no hole has more drama than the par 5 16th. We saw William Mao made a 13. I was hosting play-by-play coverage for PGA Tour Live. William Mao on Friday afternoon was the last player we were covering as they were coming through 16. He made a 13. He comes back the next day, beautiful. He conducted himself beautifully through it. You imagine a 13. And he carried himself with dignity. He carried himself as a professional. It was really impressive. Next day, 9 birdies. Golf takes, but it gives. I was really impressed with what he did. He did miss the cut. Just to finish, because it's a 3-round cut because of the 3-course rotation. But I was just very impressed with the way he handled himself, and I think great things lie in store for that young man. There is little doubt. But Sepp Straka was able to hold on and accomplish a third victory on the PGA Tour for Sepp Straka. It was a 3-shot victory when it was all said and done. Out on the DP World Tour, the Hero of Dubai, Tyrrell Hatton, closed in that desert with victory there. And we had, through these events, a chance to glimpse some big names, some major champions that many are keeping an eye on this year for a variety of different reasons. Again, how you define those reasons kind of comes down to the individual. Ryder Cup year where the majors are this year, maybe just based upon being a fan of these particular players or curious. So that's where I wanted to start before I get a chance for you guys to hear from Sepp Straka. Still coming up in the show, too, the new CEO of the PGA is going to be joining us, and what a perfect time to do it as the PGA Show week is underway. We're going to be devoting much of the time of the show over the next few days to everything that is going on that side of the game, because I know it excites you guys. I know that you're vested in this. I know you're interested in all the new stuff that will be introduced in the coming hours, and we're going to dive deep into much of it. So stay with us for that as well. But first, let's go back to this theme of, can we draw something from the performance of some of these big names, and how does it foretell, perhaps, what lies down the road? So let's start with, first of all, with Justin Thomas. He finishes tied for second. He finishes on 22 under par. Remember, the PGA is at some pretty familiar, pretty happy hunting grounds in Charlotte for JT. So let's start with this, with Justin Thomas. With the finish you just had, do you feel like this is a return to form you've been looking for? How would you assess the week?
I played well. I mean, I had a chance. It wasn't obviously a great one on the back nine, but I was proud of myself. I did what I needed to do on the front nine today, and at least, be making some noise and kind of moving up the leaderboard. Obviously, it was unfortunate to kind of stall there after 11. Really played some great golf today. Hit some really good shots. Made some great putts and hit some great putts too that didn't go in. But no, it's good. I mean, I was far from my best stuff this week. I feel like I managed everything really well and got it around well. I mean, only 2 bogeys all week, and but yeah, it's in a place like this, it's you got to be pretty sharp all around, and they'll just keep building. Not necessarily. I mean, I had definitely a couple. I could have made the putts on 12 or 13. Hit a great putt on 13, and I have no idea how it didn't go in. Kind of a weird. Didn't hit good wedge shots on 14, 15. It was extremely tough to get close to. And it's it's just one of those things. It's obviously I wish and felt like I could have birdied a lot of those holes coming in, but it just didn't. I mean, a lot. Just keep doing what I'm doing. I don't need to change or do anything different. I just keep building, keep working, tighten some things up. I mean, I feel like my wedge game is not been anything close to my level of what I like it being. So, just kind of keep honing in on that and work, because we got a big stretch here coming up that I'm excited for.
All right, so Justin Thomas, a 15-time winner on the PGA Tour, with that a multiple-time major champion, etched his 8th runner-up finish on tour, and that was his 2nd in his last 3 starts. So perhaps very good things lie in store for him, because we know, not so much last year, prior, there were bumps in the road. What about Jason Day in his status? Well, Jason Day gave it an excellent run as well. He ended up finishing a tie for 3rd and 22 under par. And much like we saw from JT was 6 under through his first 12 holes. He could have easily been 10 under with how well he was playing and how much he was burning the edges. Jason Day was doing the same thing, missing mostly on the high side at the stadium course, but so close. So let's start with Jason talking about how close were you with the putter and how satisfied were you with your performance?
Hit it very nice. A lot of the stuff that I was working on has definitely carried over, which is good. Definitely from Century. Got another one coming. And just work out the putting. I feel like I gave myself a lot of opportunities out there. I'm a good putter, so I just didn't capitalize on the opportunities. I could tell that something was off when the initial hit of the putts. I could hear the putts jumping. So when you hear the, like, kind of, it's not like a skid, it's like more of a like that. That's when it's difficult to control speed. And when it's jumping around a little bit, it's difficult to get the correct speed. And then obviously when you don't have the correct speed, then it's hard to hold the putts. And I could probably do a better job of, painting a better picture before I hit the shot too, just being able to see the putt go in a little bit better. So overall, very happy with the week. Good start to the year. So, just move into Torrey Pines.
Yeah, his first top 3 since a runner-up at the 2023 Open. So good signs for Jason Day. What he was talking about there with the greens, there was actually 3 different strains of grass that you were witnessing through much of the tournament. The brown grass was a dormant Bermuda. And then you had the overseeded rye in the primary rough area that was hugging the fairways. That was also overseeded rye. And then the greens themselves were Poana. And as you know, that starts to bloom as the day gets late. Jason was the last one out, so maybe that's what he was talking about in terms of that sound that he described that he could hear as he was putting. He was talking about skid. And just technically to explain that for 1 second, as soon as the golf ball makes contact with the face, it ricochets off it. That's in the business what we call skid. And the ball's actually airborne when that happens. So what they try to do, and we'll concentrate on this putter technology as the days and hours unfold before as this PGA Show week, is they're looking to get control and rolling end over end of that ball as soon as possible. And they do that with the weighting. They do that with the MOI. They do that with the inserts. They do that with the particular metals. They do that with the way that it is milled, all with the intent of giving it what they call a softer feel at times off the face so that you get control earlier so it starts to roll end over end. Just to give you the technical side of that, because it's the week to dive into all of those things. For Rory McIlroy, he finished up in a tie for 4th on the mark of 12 under par. So I want to hear from Rory in terms of what worked well for him. This was also his 12th top 10 finish in this event.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I probably just left myself a bit too much to do after 3 days. I had chances and was burning the edges. Felt like I putted pretty well without anything going in. And then today, didn't really feel like I played that differently the way I played the last few days. I just held a couple of putts and made a couple of good up and downs when I had to. So feel like I got progressively better as the week went on, which bodes well for obviously the next few weeks. I think probably just a little bit of game management and getting back to, I think when you take a few weeks off and you come back to play like a really good tournament setup like this, I look at some flags on greens, I'm like, whoa, that's quite a bit further to the right than I thought it would be, or that's quite a bit further to the left. So when you're playing at home and the pins are in the middle of the greens, it just gives you a different visual. And then you get out here and you start to, your aim lines start to become a little different. And so I think playing a week like this, it sort of gives me a good appreciation for, sort of what I'm, especially with the iron play, what I need to do for the next few weeks.
All right, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Jason Day. Is the table being set for 2025? I surely think it is. Sepp Straka, man, did he feast yesterday. Earned his 3rd PGA Tour win. That came in his 169th start, age of 31 years, 8 months, 18 days. He converts his first 54-hole co-lead on tour into that victory over Justin Thomas, 2-stroke victory, actually, when it was all said and done. 27 birdies for the week, ties Cam Davis for the most in the field. He earned, of course, 500 FedEx Cup points, moves to number 2 in the FedEx Cup standings. He is fully exempt on the PGA Tour through the 2027 season. And the place to start was somebody that wins, and they're surrounded by the emotions and euphoria of that victory, is the simple question. How was your day?
No, it was great. It was awesome. It was a fun day. Trying to, manage the lead and manage my nerves, and just had a good time playing out there, and very happy to come out with a win. This course kind of makes it easy because you just have to hit your shots. I mean, there's no safe play, really. You just have to hit your numbers, you have to hit your spots, and especially as firm as the greens are, you just have to execute, and kind of made it easy to focus on each shot, but it was very intimidating, obviously, because every hole, you got a chance to make a double, a bogey everywhere you look. So, very happy with the way I hit the ball today, and just overall, very happy with the week. Definitely not comfortable. That's quite the opposite. I never really felt safe with the lead all day. Charlie was making birdies, Jason was making birdies. I think Justin was playing well ahead of us, and it was It was tough. I'm glad I came out firing and made some birdies early because, if I'd played even par in the front, which would have been a pretty good score, I think it would have had a one-shot lead going in the back, which would have been a little bit of a different story. So those early birdies were huge. I never really thought about that. Yeah, I never thought about the no bogey thing. I was just trying to close out the tournament. I had a lot of chances to make bogeys throughout the week, and the putter kind of stayed hot for me and stayed bogey free for a long time there. But yeah, I never really worried about the no bogeys.
Well, he only had that one, so it was very, very well done indeed. There was a little doubt about that. Okay, when we come back on the Fairways of Life show, I want to dive in earnest with this conversation that I was just touching on briefly about the golf industry. The PGA Show, to me, is the Super Bowl of the business side of the game. It is, from that context, our fifth major, if you please. So I want to talk about what the game of golf means, and I think after bringing it up to you and saying, there's a couple different ways we can go at it, we can't talk about the economic might of the game, which is a lot more stout than what people realize. But I'm not going to do that. I want to go down the road of what you guys have built, what the numbers say about the game of golf because of how you guys in your participation have grown the game and how the game continues to evolve and continue to change. And then what are some of the challenges for the game that we all could participate in to make the game even better for everybody. That, as the Fairways of Life show continues, PGA Show Week right after this.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core column material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for a distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops iron is going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
That is the big stage where everything will be moving a little bit later on this week. The PGA Show gets underway in earnest for us actually today. We have the Irish Golf Day out at the Reunion Resort, where everybody involved with the Irish golf trade is pretty much represented there. It's a big event, obviously a fun event on a Monday. Even though it's going to be cool by Florida standards, we'll be all right. There's people all around the country and probably around the world rolling their eyes right now as I say that. I think the high is going to be a Fahrenheit 52-ish, so that's what, 11 or 12 Celsius, somewhere around there. And then tomorrow we move out to demo day. So when you look at the programming block in the morning on Golf Channel, so today you had Gary at 8, you've got me at 9, you got Rex and Lav at 10. Tomorrow, Gary at 8, me at 9, and then we're going out, I'm talking about Bailey Chambly, who I'm co-hosting our coverage with this week, who I love working with. Every year we get a chance to get together. So we'll head out to Orange County National for demo day. And I don't know what it is about demo day. It seems like every year the weather couldn't be windier and colder, and I think it may actually be raining this year. So we'll see how that plays itself out. But we're going to be there no matter what the weather is, so that we can give you a glimpse of that which will be coming to golf courses and golf shops near you in 2025. So really excited about that as well. That will be coming up then Wednesday. Again, same block as I just went through with you in terms of the morning block, getting us ready for moving inside. So at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday morning, we'll start our coverage coming to you live from Orange County National. So that's on the Golf Channel side. On the Fairways of Life side at 9, we'll also be broadcasting live from inside of Orange County National right here. So we're going to try to show you everything that we possibly can when we are launching all of that. So I want to go down the road about the importance of this show, about, as I mentioned to you, the importance of the golf industry and the role that you guys play in all of that. First of all, when we talk about the show itself, it's massive. The Orange County Convention Center is absolutely huge. And this year's show is bigger than it has been. Well over 1 million square feet of exhibit space dedicated to everything and anything that you can think of in the game of golf. I love these photos that Andrew is putting up there, because you can look at all of these names and get a sense of, oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. Pretty much anybody who's anybody in the golf industry, if they're trying to reach you guys, which is ultimately the desire and the destination with everybody's efforts here, right? They're all inside of these walls. They're all inside of this building. So I wanted to give you our last reporting year for full information on where the game of golf stands by the criteria and by the standards that I was talking about for you was full year 2023. We're going to get the 2024 numbers coming up very, very soon. So let me start here for a second. Just take these numbers in, because they are crazy impressive. There's been more than 500 million rounds played for each of the past 4 years. There was a record 531 million rounds played in the last reporting period. Golf's overall reach is estimated at 123 million in the USA. This includes the playing of the game. That's on course and off course. I'll get to that in just a second. Those who followed golf on TV or online. Those who read about the game. Those who listened or watched, say, a golf podcast or consumed online streaming content. There are 16,000 plus courses at over 14,000 facilities. 75% of the game's courses, this is USA based, I'm giving you right now, are public accessible. 45 million of you played both on course and off course. That represented 26.6 million playing on course and 18.4 million playing off course. And globally, the off course rounds have now officially exceeded the on course rounds. That's for the immediate past year. 3.4 million played for the first time. And this is where I was talking about this idea, folks, of you guys and the role that you can play to help us continue to make the game strong. 3.4 million played for the first time. So if you go back to, say, the height of the Tiger effect, right? At that time, the number was 2.4 million. So we're a million higher. And the reason why I'm bringing it up in the context of all of us and what role can we play with knowing that number is, what can we do to continue to make those new golfers feel welcome? How can we help bring them into the fold of the game so that they stay with the game, right? It's good, and it's important for all of us. Off-course entertainment venues, they're also crediting as saying it's almost like a feeder system for these new golfers, which is good because the game of golf has always been about, in some ways, an ascent. So golfers that are introduced to the game, club in hand, hitting a golf ball and going, wow, this is really fun, they ascend. There is that track and path that we're watching where they go out to the golf course itself. The largest demographic in the game is 18 to 34 years old, and their rounds are split between on and off. They're playing of the game. 3.5 million juniors. That is, get this, ready for it? A 40% increase since 2019. That's the largest growth of any one particular area. 37% of those juniors are female. 37%. 20 years ago, that number was 15%. 25% of the group are also non-Caucasian, and that was only 6% 20 years ago. So you can see that the game is making tremendous strides in all of these areas to bring more people into the game. The challenge for those of us that are here are to be welcoming, are to be nurturing, and to retain people as they come in to the game. We are delighted that we're getting joined right now by a dear old friend, Derek Sprague, who has had such a distinguished career. He was at Malone for, 25 years, if memory serves me. He was at Liberty National. He was GM at TPC Sawgrass. He's a past president of the PGA. He is now announced as the CEO. It's remarkable, the path, his career path that he's made. He's joining us right now. Derek, how are you? Congratulations on all.
Great. Thanks, Matt. Good to be with you this morning.
Now, how did you go from those distinguished posts that I just broad-brushed outlined to decide, you know what, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring to be the CEO of the PGA of America?
Well, back in June when Sepp stepped down at the end of June, I was just overwhelmed by the number of supporters around the country from the PGA of America, all the relationships I made when I was in office and a director going back as far as 2010. And it was just, heartwarming to see so many people, whether it was current board members, past board members, executive directors, members at large, and industry folks that I've met along the way, and corporate partners of the PGA of America. They said, hey, this role is perfect for you. I never really gave it a thought in advance until, they started, asking me, hey, would I consider this role? And then things just came together. It was a little bit of a long process, 6 months, but it was a thorough process by the PGA of America and Spencer Stewart, the executive search firm, and I'm glad to be the CEO today.
Anytime a team gets a new head coach, the question is asked, what do you feel that you can uniquely bring to this organization? What would be the answer for Derek Sprague at the PGA?
Well, I think in speaking with the officers and the search committee, the missing component, I think, for them at this particular time is to have someone with the governance experience, right? So I sat on the board from 2008 to 2010, and then an officer from 10 to 16, and be able to really understand the governance model of the PGA of America, as well as when you look at my experience most recently at Liberty and TPC Sawgrass, where I ran large championships. So, that's what we do for our spectator championships, our member championships, but also understanding being a grassroots golf professional, an individual that, went through the business schools back in the early 90s and taught golf lessons and junior clinics and pulled carts out and merchandise and ran events and worked my way up at Malone Golf Club in little old Malone, New York. Just having that experience, I think, will help our 30,000 plus, but also it'll help all of our partners as well, knowing that they have, a PGA member at the helm here, really understanding our membership, and that's important for our partners as well.
How significant is that to the rank and file, to those 30,000 that you referenced, the PGA of America professionals who are the centuries at the gate of the game of golf for so many, many millions and generations back? What do you think it means to them that they can now look up the ladder and go, not only do we have PGA professionals that ascend through the officer ranks, now we've got one that's the CEO of the entire organization?
Well, I can tell you, based on the feedback since the announcement was made back in December, I can tell you I have a lot of support out there by our PGA professionals, which really gets me excited. It sort of also elevates the responsibility. They want to make sure that I represent them not only as their CEO, but as a fellow PGA member, and I'm going to certainly bring that to the table in my current role, and as well as all the great employees that we have around the country in the PGA of America, whether they're based in Frisco, Palm Beach Gardens, New York, or out in the field. We have a number of PGA members that are employed there, and I look forward to representing them as well in this new role. And I think it's important for them to know that they have someone came up through the ranks like many of them have.
Derek, the PGA of America owns the PGA Championship. You control the American half of the Ryder Cup. Given the size of your organization, given those huge events that are under your thumb at the PGA of America, and much more, it goes without saying that this new post that you have agreed to assume makes you one of the 5 most powerful individuals in the game of golf. From your own perspective, from an organizational perspective, what kind of voice, where do you see the PGA of America fitting in that pantheon of power?
Well, thanks, Matt. The way I described it to a number of my employees when the announcement came out, they, again, we know there's been a lot of confusion between the PGA Tour and PGA of America. And when you look at our organization, as you just, referenced, we have majors on all the tours. We have the KPMG Women's PGA. We have a Senior PGA Championship, our PGA Championship, and Ryder Cup. And that's something that all PGA professionals should be very proud of, that we have majors on all the tours. And then we have the best event in golf, the Ryder Cup. So I certainly look forward to working with all the other stakeholders and leaders in the game of golf. A number of them have already reached out. We're setting up time to get together, whether it's coming down to Frisco to see our new headquarters down there or meeting them at different events this year. But I look forward to working with all of them. I think it's a great opportunity for the PGA of America to sort of have a seat at the big table. And not that we haven't in the past, but now just making sure that we're at that table with all the other leaders of the allies, and make sure, the game is bigger than any one organization. So I feel it's important to work with them. And if we can keep our North Star, the game of golf, I think the game of golf will be healthy, for many years to come. As you mentioned, we're riding this tsunami since the pandemic, and it's the PGA professional really on the ground that's increasing the number of rounds, increasing participation in our sport, and retaining that participation going forward. So I look forward to working with all our allied stakeholders and make sure that our voice is heard.
This week, of course, Derek, is the PGA Show. The PGA Show, from my perspective and opinion, is such a critically important part of the business side of the golf game. There are literally billions of dollars in commerce that will find their foundation, footing, rooting in the days and hours that lie before us. What is your perspective of this week and how important this is, not only to PGA of America professionals, but to the industry itself?
Well, I think, again, in your earlier segment, when you're talking about participation numbers are up in golf. And when you look at the show here, I think it's a great indicator of the health of the industry. We have over 1,000 brands here, 1,000 vendors, over 30,000 people will be attending this week. And many of those are the PGA professionals that are buyers. And we got our teaching and coaching summit here. We got record numbers there as well. So really the health of the golf industry is very strong. And I think, getting them all under one roof here in Orlando says a lot about the industry. We're sharing best practices. We're sharing trends. We're looking ahead to the industry and how we can keep it going at such a strong pace. So it's all going to happen here this week. I look forward to networking. Again, many of the key stakeholders and all the organizations will be here this week. And I look forward to talking to them and seeing how we can all work together for the best part of the game.
Derek, you guys have so many initiatives that are helping to grow the game. The Junior League just being one example that pops into my head immediately. 41% of all new golfers are female. 37%, as you heard me mention before, of junior golfers are female. What can we do collectively, and do you guys have initiatives as part of the PGA of America to help keep that demographic feeling more welcome and retain them in the game after they have crossed the threshold?
Yeah, I think, those are great programs. And when you look at those stats, Matt, it's just a great indication of the great work that our PGA members are doing. And one thing I think, and we're going to continue to see it increase because more women are getting into the PGA of America, and that only helps break down those intimidation barriers that many people over the years have felt. Susie Whaley did an incredible job of continuing to break down those barriers when she was president of the PGA of America. And I think that growth will continue for years to come. We just, PGA Lead is another great program under our PGA Reach umbrella where we find leaders of diverse backgrounds, including women, that we get them in leadership roles. And when they're in a position of influence, they can really influence others to get involved, whether it's on committees or getting involved with the growth of the game initiatives. And I think we're just going to see this continue to snowball, and those numbers will continue to increase over the years.
Derek, I know you have a very, very busy week ahead of you, and I'm looking forward to everything, frankly, that you have ahead of you in your new role. I'm sure we're going to be discussing many things as the months and years continue to unroll. And all of those things I wish you the very, very best with, because there are some complicated matters that lie in store. The rollback of the golf ball being one that comes to mind, pressures upon golf facilities with this overwhelming demand in terms of that 75% that are public access. What can we do in terms of controlling the costs there so that people can afford to play golf and keep pace? So these are all items that down the road I'd love to talk to you about more. I believe personally, Derek, that the PGA of America can be the voice of the people who play the game, which concerns me at some point when we talk about governing bodies and the agendas at a macro level, who's making sure that we're speaking for the people in terms of how things impact them. So I'm really excited about your leadership, and we all collectively wish you the very, very best, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Matt. Look forward to connecting with you down the road.
Yeah, maybe this week we'll bump into each other out on those aisles ways. More than 10 miles of aisles at the PGA Show. Cannot wait to share it all with you. When we come back, we're going to talk more about, we're dipping our toes now into some of the different products, because remember, you heard me say everything is represented at this PGA Show. Yes, we're going to focus on the clubs. I know you guys are interested in that. Sure, we're going to focus on, like Callaway's new driver. I think that might be our first day, if I'm not mistaken. Dom is here, so he's not giving me any indication of shaking his head. But I'm pretty sure on the first day of our coverage, one of our first guests is going to be coming in from Callaway, so we'll be talking about that new driver and really digging into the details so you understand it, what I like to say, under the hood. But when we come back, it's about you. In fashion, in lineage, in more. Stay with us. Fairways of Life Show continues right after this.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses. all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The best feeling iron I've ever hit. Introducing the new Gen 7 irons, the greatest leap forward in irons technology, in performance, in PXG history. Our new quantum core material explodes off the face. Are you kidding me? The Gen 7 irons deliver groundbreaking new levels of forgiveness, speed, distance, and feel. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that trajectory. Just phenomenal. Gen 7, it doesn't get any better.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Getting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show, on the business side of the game, the world of golf will be focused on tropical locales just like that. We're here in Orlando, Florida, of course. PGA Show week will have more than 30,000 PGA professionals represented amongst its ranks. One of those who amongst its ranks on the media side, I believe there's over 900 media members that are accredited for the PGA Show. 900. I heard yesterday that there's 200 plus influencers that will be here as well. That's Dominic Scarano. You can see on the left side of the frame. He's normally in his little room behind the glass.
Very unforgiving camera shot here for me. Look away. Look away.
So in any event, we will be live from all week, from everything and to everything that's going on around the PGA Show. But, Dom, do you know, for people that will be at the show this week, the tens of thousands that are coming into Orlando right now as we speak for the show, where will we be for this show when we're broadcasting Fairways of Life live?
So, Andrew, get that graphic out of there. So that's a picture I took actually yesterday. You can see very few get to go into the
What is that our booth?
Yeah, yes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, you're really making great progress on it.
It's still covered in saran wrap. But for those few that get the chance to go in there, into the convention center before things are settled and before the show proper begins, it is a zoo. And there are honking and beeping and forklifts, and it's super dangerous, and there's a lot of stuff going on. That is actually our location. So if you are going to be there, you should totally swing by. I think the number is 773. But really, we're going to be down by the driving range. We're going to be across from Mizuno, kind of right in the meat of all of it. We'll be right there broadcasting live. You should come check it out.
We'll probably be, 50, 60 feet away from the Golf Channel stage, which I'll be running over to as soon as we finish.
I wouldn't say 60 feet. It's probably more like 100 yards. But yeah.
You think it's that far?
Yeah, it's about 100 yards.
Okay.
60 feet and 100 yards are very different.
Yeah. No, they would be. They definitely would be. There's no doubt about that. Did you do a question of the day?
I did do a question of the day. You want to know what it was?
I would like to know what it is.
It is related to equipment, if you can believe it. I asked, are you looking for any new golf equipment right now? Because this is a good time of year to look for golf equipment. And I had three options. The first was obviously yes and no. The third is I'm always looking, because there's some people that are just always looking. And right now, we've got 33% of the people are saying I'm always looking for new stuff.
Wow, that's a good percentage. That's really interesting.
That's very high. And then 46% said yes, I'm looking. So there's not very many people not looking for new stuff.
That's 79%.
The huge percentage of people are looking for golf equipment right now.
That is really interesting. I bet the comments coming in from people are interesting on that too. See, I would go, the 33% to me would probably be the ones that would be defined as what we call early adopters. And in the golf industry and the equipment side, those are a very, very important group. It's usually the old 80-20. 20% by 80%, because those are the ones that are buying new products. Those are the ones that are bringing out to the course. So those are the ones that, from a golf business perspective, are paying the full price on it. And everyone at your course, wherever you play, goes, oh, let me see that new driver. Here's a question you should do. If you want to weigh in on these questions with Dom, you go to our Fairways of Life YouTube page. You get a new driver. You bring it to the tee, and somebody goes, oh, it looks great. You mind if I hit it? Would you let him do it, or are you worried about if they top it, you've got the mark on the crown?
We should break because we're way behind on breaks, and also, I really don't like this camera.
I think you should focus on that. I think you should do a slow zoom.
No good.
As we go to break on the Fairways of Life show. When we come back, I want to take you down the road of saying, what is right for you? What is right for you? We'll go down that road, not only just now, but in the days and hours at Lions Store. Stay with us.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm-up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core column material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for a distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops iron is going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
Delighted to welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show on Monday. PGA Show week is upon us. So you heard me teasing about the Callaway Elite driver. And I'm not sure if you guys, and we are going to go deep on it as the week continues, but I wanted to touch on it now because this theme of what's the right driver for you, right? And using the Elite as an example, because I have a feeling that for some of you that are watching us right now from coast to coast and around the world, this may be your first glimpse at the Callaway Elite and what they have done to this particular driver in terms of technology heading into 2025. This driver's design is very much about an AI design. Now, what they're doing with that AI design impacts everything else that the driver does. It is very much about the aero. What I mean by that is the aerodynamics. What's the drag on the head? How can they increase club head speed? And how can that, working in union with that AI design face, increase ball speed? And all of that collectively, and that's not the only technology, I'm just illustrating those two, that can result in greater distance for all of you. And the story about performance off the tee right now is not only about the distance, although I would still say that's probably primary, it always is, but it's also about the stability at the moment of impact. That's called MOI, right? Moment of inertia. And the reason why that is so important is so that when you, it's not a question of if you, it's a when you miss the sweet spot, the hitting zone of the club face, what flight does the golf face, does the golf club give you on what was, in essence, not a pure swing? The vast majority of the time, all of us, including the best players in the world, do not hit the perfect swing. So what's cool about this one is that by using that AI technology, back in the day when we were designing a new driver, for example, you'd have to tool up physically, make the tools so that you could come out with, say, call it 10 heads that you were testing with various movements of weight and center of gravity, manipulation, etc. Now, because of the CAD systems, because of this AI technology, they can effectively come up with models that number in the many, many thousands. What does that mean? That means that, again, not if, but when, the ball is hit on the club face and it is off center from the hitting zone. Because, and let me just tell you why I call it that way for a second. The center of gravity has become a marketing term in the game of golf. And people believe that it is the face. The center of gravity is not the face, it's a point. It's a balance point of the club. So by manipulating the center of gravity, what the engineers can do is they can manipulate a number of different things, including the initial launch angle. The lower and farther back and ahead that you have the center of gravity, the higher the initial launch angle. And so it's also going to impact spin, Some players need more of it. Some players need less of it. So that's where I'm getting into this conversation of what head is right for you. Right? Where do you go? We've had a similar conversation, and I guarantee you we will this week, where you walk into your golf shop, whatever it is. Maybe it's, for example, a PGA Tour Superstar. You walk in and you see miles of golf balls. How do you know which one is right for you? Right? Again, I will get to that conversation too, but sticking to this one with the drivers, if you are an elite player, if you have a swing speed maybe at least 100, probably 105 or more, then you probably will be looking at one of the drivers that they call LS, low spin. And the difference with those, and this is where the game of golf from an equipment side, it's always interesting because people at home see what the best players in the world do and go, oh, I want exactly what that person has. Look how well they're doing with it. That may not be the right driver for you. So the LS is going to actually move that center of gravity forward. Remember you just heard me talk about how if you take the center of gravity and you move it far away and low, it's going to impact the initial launch angle. The more you move that center of gravity forward, the more you're bringing down that initial launch angle. You're also bringing down the spin. That's why it's LS, right? So it's important to know that when you look at this is why, the long and short of all of this is get fit. Make sure you get fit, really for all your clubs, not just your driver, but it's particularly important with your driver too. Then generally, they're going to have a driver that's going to be the rank and file driver, the one that's made, honestly, for 95% of the people. Then they're going to have a max driver that's made for those of you who need the most forgiveness you possibly can get. We're going to do this all week. Thanks for your company, folks.